So I set out today with an absolute determination to make it to the hunting lodge, which is very secluded in the forest, surrounded by thousands of trees. Every previous attempt to get there has failed because of communication problems between the drone and the controller. It's really a direct line of sight issue, but I guess it's to be expected on a model of this size and this price range, obviously. The DJI Mini 4K is an excellent drone. It does great aerial photography. In fact, the aerial photography is vastly better than the videography. But I mean, the videos are good enough, quite frankly, in 4K and 1080p. And going over the forest whilst it's covered in snow is a pleasant experience. To be able to see a forest that I've walked through literally thousands of times in my 56 years of life. Yeah, it's a wonderful experience to be able to see it from the air in this way. And the hunting lodge, of course, was derelict for many years. In the early 1990s, I had my own construction business, and things were going very well for quite a time. And I'd always had my eye on the hunting lodge. I wanted to buy it and renovate it with the profits from my construction business. But alas, illness intervened, and it was bought by someone else, and they converted it into apartments. And I think now it's bought out by a single owner, and they've done a thoroughly good job of renovating the hunting lodge. And I've always found it a truly beautiful, almost mystical place, and I often walk by it and think, well, what could have been? I know it's perhaps pointless to think like that, but that's what I think. It's a happy thought in actual fact. It's not melancholy in any way, shape, or form. And of course, I've never seen the hunting lodge in this way before, from the air, from directly above. So I'm actually looking at now a proper aerial view of what it was I wanted to buy. And for me, it's a very special place, I absolutely love this forest. And the hunting lodge is, really in many ways, it's idyllic, really, I would say. It obviously was part of the old Barber family estate. And yeah, it's almost got a castle energy to it. It's not a castle, obviously, but the hunting tower itself, as you can see there, directly below, just gives it that almost castle-like feeling. Every Englishman's home is his castle, as it were. And this would have been quite a castle for me, but it didn't work out. But yeah, absolutely, I love returning here. And the reservoir, the entire area, thousands of trees, deciduous and evergreen. Yeah, and when the snow's on the ground, it does look very, very mystical at times. Very primordial, I would say. The great thing about the drone is that, for just £280, and I said it before, what's not to like, really? I mean, this is, a small aircraft, and you can see your favorite places from the air. And this is my favorite place in the whole world, in actual fact. This is where I feel most at home. This is where I feel truly myself. And it's one of the main reasons why I bought the drone, was to get this aerial view of the place that is truly the country of my heart. And the hours I've spent in this forest here, I've lost count of those hours. I could never possibly count them, but all of them have been thoroughly enjoyable. I couldn't have spent those hours better if I'd tried, and I didn't try at all. I put those hours to this test, and they passed the test, because this is a wonderful place. It's a magical forest to me. And yeah, well done, DJI Mini 4K. Thoroughly good performance. But at this point, again, signal problems between the drone and the controller. It's a common problem in actual fact when you're flying quite away from the controller with thousands of trees blocking the line of sight. Some of the more expensive models have much better controllers and signal strength, and that's what I'll be looking for next. But first of all, I'm still really in training mode on the DJI Mini 4K, and it is perfect. It's a perfect beginner's drone. It's perfect for training on, and the views obviously are epic to me. I love them. And right over there in the middle of the frame, almost to the left, is where I'm stood, but you can't see me. It's about just over a quarter of a mile. So when they say, oh yes, it can do several kilometers, well, no battery life could ever cope with several kilometers, and it would have to be just a completely flat plane. So therefore it can't do 7 kilometers. But for this type of work, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect.